Hey everyone. So we are at the end of another homeschool day. Everybody's had lunch, we finished all our subjects, and the room is kind of trashed. So this is what a normal homeschool room mess looks like for me at the end of the day. So I'm going to show you everything that I do to help prepare for the following day. So I do these things on a daily basis, and it just helps me transition into the next day so much more easily and smoothly, and I'm not pulling my hair out trying to do all this. So I'm going to put this on the tripod now that you guys have seen our mess. And I'm going to show you all the things that I do to help me prepare for tomorrow. So stay tuned. So one of the first things that I do is I typically have the kids do their desk cleanup. They are responsible for this area, so don't think that I'm like cleaning for them or anything like that. But just for the purpose of the video and so I can explain all of this, I am leaving this here. So the first thing that I do is any papers that are out that I need to put away or that need to go in your notebooks or that need to be filed, I get that done. So I typically always have my hole puncher around, and and I try to do this as we go along, but sometimes things just get lost in the shuffle. So what I like to do is I make sure that I keep up with their notebooks on a daily basis, because that helps me and it helps them when we're talking about keeping up with the notebooks and making sure that we have everything. It just helps me, and it helps the end of the year mess be a lot more simple. So I'm going to make sure that I have all of that. So I'm going to get my other notebook here, and I'm just going to put that in there. Okay, so those were, looks like the only two papers that I had today. So we have specific shelves and things like that for all of the notebooks and the teacher's manuals, and that seems to really kind of keep the mess down to a minimum. So I make sure that I have all my teacher's manuals together in one spot. So I have 4 main manuals, 2 for Rebecca and 2 for my father's world, and I put those on the shelf and make sure that those are ready to go for tomorrow. That way I'm not scrambling in the morning. Then any books, typically my kids put these back on the shelves, but for the sake of the video, I'm doing that today. Any trash that needs to be taken out will be taken out. And any books or anything that's laying out on the desks, we always put away. Okay, now I'm going to turn the camera over this way so you guys can see me. So one of the other things that I have found super helpful is to have everything on the board already written that needs to be written for the next day. So Becca especially is one of those curriculums where I have found that it's just really helpful for me to have everything already on the board so I don't have to think about it. So when you're in the lower grades of a Becca, so the elementary grades especially, you have a lot of sentence structure, grammar, punctuation, things like that, diagramming. So for me, having that all done on the board and ready for the next day is essential. So our sentences are already up here, ready to go, and I don't have to worry about that for tomorrow. The next thing that I do is I open up my teacher's manuals for my father's world, and I see if there's any special projects, any art, anything that I need to gather supplies around the house for, and have that already done. So today, for example, hold on, let me grab it. Today, for example, in science, you might have seen this on Instagram, my youngest was making a ocean box for his Apology of Science. Now, last night what I did was I already had the box out, I had the paper out, I had the glue out, I had everything ready to go. So all he needed to do was just sit down, get his things ready, and just go. So this made it so much easier, because this could have been such a waste of time had I not had all of the things ready to go. So being prepared as a teacher and as a parent is one of those things that is really essential and will make homeschooling so much less stressful for you if you learn how to pre-plan all of those things. So make sure that you look inside your teacher's manuals. And one of the great things about my father's world is, I'm going to show you guys here. One of the great things about it is inside of the teacher's manual, it will tell you after the actual scheduling, the materials that you need for the entire week. So you can, at the beginning of the week, go in here, gather all of these materials, and have them ready to go in one spot. That makes your life a whole lot easier. Another thing is, because they utilize the book basket feature, is to make sure that you have your books in your book basket and ready to go. So the last thing I want to touch on is science, because I am so terrible about science. One of the things that I have done this year, excuse me for bending over, guys. One of the things that I do for science is I utilize home science tools, and when I use the Apologia Sciences, so my 4th grader is doing swimming creatures right now, what I do is I get the lab kits, and everything that I need for the entire year for that curriculum is right in here. I did the same thing for physical science for my 8th grader, and you guys, it is just, it's wonderful. It's wonderful because you know what? I don't have to stress. I know everything is already inside my classroom, inside this box. I don't even unpack the box. I keep it all in the box because I know how I am, and I know that this stuff will be spread out all over the place if I don't get that. So I make sure to look inside of the science curriculum as well. So the next thing that I do is open up the science book, and if you have Apologia, then it'll look like this. A lot of my father's world does utilize Apologia Sciences. Some of them use the Living World and Usborne books, and if you're like us and you're just science crazy family, then you use both. So we are doing these, and it'll tell you the schedule right here. It's like a 2-day schedule for the week, and then you can go inside the books and you can look, and it will have everything in here. So like this one is an experiment, and it will show you what you need to do, and the list of things that you need is right at the top. So then you can go in there, see what you need, get it all out and ready to go. I suggest doing this the night before, making sure on a weekly basis that you do at least glance at it and know. If you're like me and you're just like crazy planner, get everything ready to go on the weekends, and then make sure that it's there. Make sure you don't need to buy anything. I am so terrible about that. And then have all of the material ready the night before. So gather it in one place on the weekends, make sure everything's ready for the week. And then the night before, make sure you take a peek and see what you're doing for the following day. Set it out and have it ready to go in the morning, so you are not scrambling all over the place while still trying to drink your coffee, and it's just a stressful mess. Nobody likes that. So those are the main things that I do. I put our books away, I sharpen our pencils, I make sure that the desks are cleared, I write everything on the board that needs to be written on the board, I make sure any copies are made. This is one of those things. Sometimes we need to make copies of things, especially if you are doing a family style curriculum, and sometimes you just need to make copies. Make sure the copies are already made and they are ready to go and put inside of their folder or their notebook, and that way it's much more organized for you. And then the last thing is just to make sure that all of your papers are filed away at the end of the day, because if you let those papers pile up, you guys, it's just, by the end of the year, it's a mess. It is a mess. And the system that we are using this year, and I will turn you around slowly, is the file system right here. So this file system is really helping me out. So one of them is just worksheets that we haven't done yet. One is the ones that have already been turned in. And then these are just extras and things for me that I need as a parent, just like parent worksheets. So these things help me keep much more organized, and it helps keep the paper clutter from just taking over my classroom. So I hope that helps you guys and gives you guys some helpful tips for what to do at the end of the day and just how to prepare your homeschool room so things are a little bit less stressful on you and your kids. Homeschooling can be so much fun and it can be a blast, but it can be super stressful if you are not organized, if you don't prepare adequately. It can make you go crazy. These are things that I used to do in my classroom before my kids would come into the room every day, and I just carried that over into my homeschool room because I know how quickly things can get out of control in a small space. So I hope that helps you guys. If you guys have any questions, make sure you leave them down below. If you have any great organizing tips, leave them down below as well. I'd love to hear what you do at the end of the day or on the weekends to help you prepare. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.